So my name's Catherine Rosati, and I work with Stockport Council. I'm an inclusion officer with Neighbourhood Inclusion, and I'm currently helping at the Volunteer Hub.
My name's Helen Richmond. I work for the Wellbeing and Independence Network, supporting adults in Stockport to get involved in meaningful activities, groups, various other services, just to help them to reduce isolation. So I made contact with Catherine sometime last summer, summer of 2020, when I was looking for some voluntary work for a specific client, and I've been advised that she may be able to help me with that.
So when Helen got in contact with me, the Volunteer Hub it didn't exist. It was more of a concept more than anything else. So I knew about the different volunteer roles that we had, and it was more a case of trying to see if they fitted with Helen's client at all. There were different connections that I'd made with different organisations, so again it was able to just sort of check with them and see if there was anything outside of the volunteer roles we'd been given that might have been of any use.
So, as Catherine mentioned, the partnership started with initial contact, and it was based really around an individual client. She managed to put me in touch and sort of facilitate some meetups with various people, all obviously over email, which enabled the client then to actually move into some successful volunteering, which was matched really, really well, and he absolutely enjoyed it. And the community hub that he was volunteering for were really, really, really impressed with him. So I fed this back to you, didn't I?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Catherine was brilliant in saying, does he fancy this as well? Does he fancy that? And, sending other opportunities, which then I found I had another client who was looking for some volunteering, mentioned it to yourself, and all this was in the whilst we were waiting for the hub that was again just a concept, but was coming, and it was going to be a sort of one-stop shop for people who either were looking for volunteers for their organisation or their community offer, or they were looking for a place to do some volunteering.
So with the client that Helen sent over, or we were talking about, I did contact a few different organisations, but what I thought was really good was that Helen knew what his skills were, and the client knew what his skills were, and so instead of us popping him into a role that existed, we were actually able to get him to do a task that was more what he wanted to do and what he was skilled at, and both parties benefited from that, the client and also the organisation as well. And he did a really good job as well, so everybody was really happy with that. So what was really good from meeting Helen, albeit it was all over email, or mainly over email, I had a volunteer that was struggling a little bit because he had got a diagnosis that led to a few barriers when he was volunteering. So because I'd met Helen, I was able to come to her and ask her for some advice and see if she could actually help in any way with this particular volunteer. And I'm happy to say that it's been really, really good, and he's really happy, and his volunteering has come on since then, and it's just wonderful to see. It's really good.
Oh, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Helen, she was always accessible. You were always there. Whenever I had questions, you were always there to answer them. I hope I was there as much for you.
I was going to say exactly the same. That really, really responsive, really quick at getting back, which does help, because sometimes when you're talking to people, there can be quite a delay, can't there, in trying to get things done. But things were just really went at quite a fast pace once we were in touch about somebody.
They did, and I think the client as well they wanted to know what was happening, so to try and give updates, try and keep you in the loop of what was happening for the client, I think was important as well, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that overall the partnership sort of continues, but so far it's been hugely successful, and going forward in the future, I obviously am aware that the volunteer hub is still up and running, that Catherine is running that herself, and that we can continue to send further referrals through for clients. And there are lots of clients now coming out of isolation and who want to reduce their general isolation, who are looking for those sorts of roles.
That's it. And the other thing as well,
is to say that I think Pure Innovations have been using the volunteer hub and putting the job opportunities through there as well.
Yeah.
So it's spreading. The word is spreading.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
really positively.
Mhm.